introduce to you the man of the hour,
Tony. Yo, yo, yo. This is At the Gates, yo. I am here at Target Field once again. This is your host, Tony. And I have two very special guests. Target Field regulars, well, quasi-regulars. Let's first start with...
Alex.
That's Everything Twins, Alex. Yep. And then we have...
Jared.
That's that guy who was creepily stalking me and has been following me since Atlanta. He followed me back home on the plane. Yeah, actually, he's been following me since college, which is, when we look at it, that's only close to 14 years ago. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it.
Yeah, I can tell. So, I think we have a couple different things that we would like to talk about today. And if we get really distracted, or if you hear me drop my phone, it's because, well, the Twins are taking batting practice, and maybe one of them reached here. But that might be a stretch, too, because it's the Twins, and it would take a powerful lefty to hit it up here. And, yeah, that doesn't happen often. So, like I said, gate 34, and that's our normal gate. Going to get in a little bit earlier than normal because it's a Friday. I was hoping that I was going to be able to say season ticket holders, but that only happens Monday through Thursday. The first topic, should we talk about Tim Tebow, or how about Tim No? That's dumb. That was just, how do you feel about that? I'll ask you a little.
Well, I'm hoping that he will make it. I'd like to see him have a chance in baseball. However, I feel like he's kind of taking the opportunity away from other minor leaguers just because he's had past success in football, but I am hoping that he does make it.
I actually kind of agree with you, especially because how cool would it be to snag his first career home run in the MLB? That ball would be worth a lot more than other first career home run balls, especially for just the pure novelty side of it. I totally agree with you about taking the spot away, especially because maybe there was someone that was on the roster that didn't really deserve that position right now or was going to be cut. But you have a crap ton of guys that are either in college or even somewhere else, a foreign country, that could easily step in and be a better prospect than him, than a 29-year-old who hasn't played since he was 17. Jared, I know that you are basically our football wizard here and know everything football. So how do you feel about it?
As far as I'm concerned, I say more power to him. You guys are talking about, well, he's taking a roster spot away from somebody, but didn't they...
What? Oh! We were running after that, and then the security guard got it. So, roster spot?
So let me jump back in here. Basically, you're talking about him taking away a roster spot, but the Mets sent him to the instructional league, right? So, I mean, to me, that's what the tryout is for. You're giving him a chance to prove what level he can play at, and also you're sending him to the instructional league to give him the experience, and then you're probably going to try to place him appropriately from there. If he doesn't cut it in the instructional league, then he doesn't cut it anywhere. So
I somewhat agree with that. The one article that I did read, and I read it incorrectly at first, so forgive me, Timmy, because I read that like an idiot. Stupid article looked like it was done after 2 paragraphs. But it did sound like they were going to basically, like you said, give him the instructional league, but then it sounded like it was almost guaranteed that he was going to get a minor league spot.
So I missed that part
come
then.
Next year.
I apparently stopped after 2 paragraphs
so,
as well.
And that's hearsay right now. I mean, we haven't seen it happen yet, but it does sound like something that would happen because, the Mets do want to make sure that they can get some marketing out of him, and what better than seeing a former Heisman winner on your minor league team?
Well, I was going to say too, think of all the multiple sport athletes that have been out there, the Bows and the Deions and stuff like that. I mean, what's to say he can't do it? I mean,
plus look at Russell Wilson. I mean, he came back during spring training and was there with the Rangers, but
I think
this feels a lot different.
Russell, I think, to me, had a little more of a...
Yeah.
Was a little better of a prospect, but you never know.
Plus, I think the really weird thing is, it'd be one thing if he was putting his full foot forward on this, but he's getting days off so he can work ESPN for commentating.
That's a little too much privilege there, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yep.
We all agree on something. So that's enough Tebow talk, I think. Although, I'm just going to throw this out there. Whoever does catch his first home run, should he make it to the pros, please take a knee just like Tebow does, and Tebow once you catch the Tebow. That has to happen. If it doesn't, you wasted your spot on SportsCenter, and quite frankly, they should blur your face. All right, now to the big talk. I labeled this here on my sheet. It just says, chill, fam. And most people would think, oh, ball hawk, you're telling Tommy Pham to chill. I'm going to take a different route here, but before we get into the basically, is Tommy at fault or is the fan at fault talk, let's talk about what happened.
Yeah, you got a review.
So the Cardinals, they were playing in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
We're in Pittsburgh and taking batting practice, and all of a sudden, this video that Eric Jabs from My Game Balls shot, he edited it, so you can't really tell fully what's going on, but in the edit, it makes it look like Tommy had some choice words for the kid who was asking for the ball, and I think that there was some strong language in that was trying to sway you one way rather than the other way. But basically, it was one of those cases where some balls went into the stands beforehand, multiple people were around trying to catch them, and then later on, someone tried to ask Tommy for a ball. Tommy said that multiple have been hit out already, and then that's when the back and forth happened. There was a little bit of talk from the fan to Tommy, and then Tommy did kind of a little bit of a no-no by responding to it and playing off of it, but we can get into that a little bit more in depth. So, Alex, did you watch that video?
No, I haven't.
I would say that you are the lucky one, and maybe I'll pose you this. Have you ever had it where maybe some baseballs are hit in your area? You unfortunately didn't get one, but then if you asked for a ball, did the player ever say, oh, I think I saw you get one, or something to that nature?
Never had that happen, but they have pointed out that others have gone into the area, so basically you're at fault for not getting one. I should not be the one to have to toss one to you.
Yep. And as much as sometimes it sucks the way that they word it, I think that there could be better ways that they word it. Let's face it, no one's really entitled to any of those balls, so they are kind of right on some levels. Now, marketing aspect is also going to tell you it's a baseball. If you give a few away, it's relatively cheap and will build a relationship between the fan and the game. So it's a delicate balance. And then we also have to remember, quite honestly, some of those guys are having a bad day. If you're a guy that's been on the bench a lot and you've been playing like crap and all of your fans have been booing you or opposing fans have been booing you, and then the next day the first thing that you hear is, can I have a ball? It's not going to be that great. It's not like people ball hawking only ask their favorite players and are just super hardcore into getting it from that guy. The player doesn't matter a lot of times. It's just about getting that ball. So, Jared, what's your take on this?
I think it's a no-win. I don't think either side is right. I think from the player's perspective, does it hurt him to throw the ball up there? No. But is he obligated to throw the ball up there? Definitely not. So from the fan perspective, is the fan owed the ball? No. Was the fan right in jabbing at him about, oh, we'll see who's in the pros. No, I mean, that's just a butthurt response about, oh, I didn't get a ball. Well, that's fine. You don't get a ball. You don't need to go blasting that guy, especially when maybe he gets another ball a little bit later in a different section and you're over there and you could get the ball from him. Like, you're just screwing that up for yourself. So to me, it's actually a no-win. And at the end of the day, if it's me, I just say, so what, move on. And I don't take fault with either party for sure.
You had a good point there. As soon as you start to attack a player or get on their bad side, you might as well kiss any chance of getting a baseball from them goodbye.
The attack is not warranted at all. Like, you didn't get a ball, so what?
Yep.
Like, you're just gonna go and just start yelling, just heckling the guy because you didn't get a ball. Like, it's a ball. Come on, man. It's not that big of a deal.
And heckling has its time and place. If you ask some people. I know that, and I know that you're
time and place
and
for that.
and I know that
and
you
a pretty
are
poor effort as far as I'm concerned too.
You're under more of the philosophy don't heckle to begin with because it's negativity. But let's say that there is some time and place to heckle someone. How about do that when they make a terrible play on the field and cost your team a game?
I like to make it fun. Heckling.
Yes.
I don't like to make it negative.
Do we make it fun heckling? Have we ever done that?
We make it a very fun heckling. That's for
St.
sure.
Cloud State, the first 2 years that we were there, we had some pretty darn good heckling.
We did.
And it was basically our own team, especially that first year.
It definitely was our own team for a while. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a polite and fun way, and even some of the guys that we heckled from opposing teams acknowledged us, and you could tell that they weren't really mad. It was more like, wow, that was clever. The way that you said all these things was new.
We often get rewarded for that, too, from that guy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you would think you would have the same fan reaction that happened at that ball game, but in our case, like, because we've been witty about it and had fun with it, the guys generally respond well to it. So
Yep. So, yeah, if I were a judge at this point, if I had to take a side, I'm going to go and award the victory or award the not at fault to Tommy Pham, just because when it boils down to it, no one is obligated to baseball. And if you harass someone, you're probably going to get harassed back. Is that necessarily the right thing to do? No. But when you instigate a fight, you kind of know that could be something that gets returned.
Now, Pham definitely should have controlled himself in that situation, too. Like, don't get us wrong, that he's a pro. He's supposed to be able to take that kind of heat and move on with a shrug of the shoulder and just a turn of the bat kind of thing.
And that might be something where you're pulled aside and just basically told, hey, we don't, even though you look like you're in the right in this video, just don't, there's going to be people in the stands with videos that will slice and splice things to make it look like you did something wrong.
Not to say that they did that, but we never know what other context was there. So.
Right. When you say that it's been happening for 20 minutes in your video, but the video is only 2 minutes long, it's tough. So basically, if you're a pro athlete too, just keep it quiet, talk about it in the clubhouse, and do all that kind of stuff. Yes, all of the pro athletes that listen, I'd like to thank you and also ask you, what the hell are you doing? Why are you listening to me? Shut this off. You should have shut this off well in advance. In fact, I might have to make that a warning for the show, right in between my introduction, that weird theme song thing that you hear, and then the first hello. I might say, if you are a professional athlete, turn this off now and go back to practice, you fool. So, I would also like to talk about this new thing that I'm trying to do, and yes, it's a little bit selfish because I'm trying to promote this podcast, but I talk at the end of all my shows and basically say, this show is not sponsored by, and in this case, this show is not sponsored by Apple products, because the new iPhone 7 models were just unveiled yesterday, 2 days ago? 2 days ago, and they just went on pre-order today, and Jared.
Tony's upset because the upgrade options didn't work out like he thought.
Stupid
they were.
Verizon. I might be going to Sprint, but that's...
I have Verizon. I'm fully happy with my upgrade process.
I'm on a legacy program or whatever. I don't care. Anywho, Apple. They're making some good products. And then also, we'd like to plug Minnesota Special Hockey. Minnesota Special Hockey, Jared, in 10 seconds.
Minnesota Special Hockey is stand-up ice hockey for athletes with developmental disabilities who live in the state of Minnesota, but the special hockey program is nationwide. So if you know anybody, introduce them to the joy of special hockey.
Where can they go?
mnspecialhockey.org, or find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, all over the place.
Excellent. And in fact, I think this year I'm going to be getting myself involved, and look forward to hearing a little bit more about that as time comes. Lastly, we got a real sponsor, and that's what I was going to try to plug, is we're doing this program where if you give the show on iTunes a 5-star rating and screenshot that and put it on Instagram and tag at the Gates podcast, I will give you a shout out at the end of the show. And the first shout out, the inaugural shout out, goes to Eric Abneri. And I told him that I would give him whatever shout out he wanted me to say, and he said, I'm not even making this up, the first part, he wrote this down. I have it, and I can screenshot it if you want to see. Eric, who is a Mets fan, by the way, said, the show was awesome. The Wilpons should sell the Mets. Maybe then Citi Field would be better for ball hawking. Ouch. Ouch. But from what I hear, that's very true. So, Eric, thank you for being a fan of the show. I hope that you were happy with your shout-out here. And if you want to be like Eric and get your name and a little message said at the end, then, like I said, look at our show on Instagram at The Gates Podcast, or on Twitter with the symbol at, then The Gates Podcast, or just basically look at all the show notes, and they're in there too. Have a great day. Alex, you gonna get one today?
Sure.
Yes. Any autographs today?
I'm not planning on it.
Okay. Jared?
I'll stand and watch.
Jared, like the creeper he is. Thanks. Have a good night.